Hello everyone, welcome to Hibernate tutorial. In this tutorial, we will cover a simple program using Hibernate. What we will do, we will create a entity for example employee, and we will store the employee username and password in the database. And uh, let's first what we will do, we will create a table. MySQL username is root and we do not have any password, and here we can check show databases. So we already have this tally comma database, so we will use tel comma and show tables. So we have existing table, book and user. So we will create our own table. Create table employee, and in the employee what we will do, we will create a id int 11, and after that we will create username varchar 255. We have given the maximum value, then we have password varchar 255. So if we check again, we have this employee table, and what we will do, select star from employee. So right now it is empty. So we have the database now, we have the table now. What next step we have to do is we have to create a project, Java project. Right click, Java project, hibernate hibernate example. So this is the name of my project. Next, and finish. Here what we will do, first I will create the first thing I will do is I will convert this project into Maven project, so that we can easily uh, add the dependencies. Configure, convert to Maven project, and finish. Now it is now we have it has created the pom.xml file. So first thing which I want to do is I want to add the dependency. To add the dependency we need Hibernate core, and we need MySQL dependency. So we will copy this part, we will add. So here you can see that we have added two dependency. One we need is MySQL connector, another we need Hibernate core. So when we add this to our project and save our project, it will add the dependency. Let me refresh my project. So it will download this dependency from the Maven repository and put it in our local repository. So we have already covered this type of this Maven tutorial separately. So this way we can add the dependency. So let's refresh, clean, or what we can do is we can update the dependency. Here you can see that now we have Hibernate dependency and all the related dependency. We have only mentioned the Hibernate core. So this Hibernate core will add all its dependent jars to the Maven. So these are available in our local repository now. So what next step we have to do is we will create a package com.tel comma, and inside this package we will create a class employee, and this employee will consist of private and id, private string username, private string password, and we will create the setters and getters. So resources, setters and getters, select all. Okay, now we have the entity employee, we have the model employee. Now what next thing we have to do is we need to create the Hibernate cfg.xml. XML Hibernate .cfg.xml. Next and finish. So we have this Hibernate cfg.xml. So if we see that what we need in the Hibernate cfg.xml, we will copy these properties from here. So here you can see that this is my Hibernate configuration or Hibernate configuration.xml file. What next file we need is we need the this object.hpm.xml. So in case we have this employee, so we will create the employee.hpm.xml. So here inside the source, we again right click, then other xml, and I will create employee.hbm.xml. Now here we have this employee.hbm.xml. Now what I will do, I will add this part. I will add this part to the, so here in the cfg file I will mention employee.hbm.xml. Save and let's check. Yes, it is able to recognize it. And now what next thing we have to do, we have to mention the class. So here class is employee com.tell comma dot employee. So we have this employee class and id that is assigned. Okay, and we have field name username, then we have another field password. Here we will add password. Yes, our hpm file is completed, our configuration file is completed. Now what we need, now we need the main class. um, Main class, public static void main, and finish. So here we will mention all our steps. So in the main class, what are the steps? First, with the help of configuration, we have to create the configuration, then we have to configure the our configuration file. First thing which we'll do, configuration Hibernate configuration file. Configuration is equal to new configuration. Now configuration dot configure and we have to add our configuration file. Configuration file is hibernate dot cfg dot xml. So this is our configuration file. Now we have to create the session factory. Session factory is equal to configuration dot build session factory. So we have the object of session factory. From session factory, what we can do, we will create the object of session factory. Oh, session is equal to session factory dot so here we can create the open session factory dot open session. Now we have the session. What next step we have to do? We have to begin the transaction. We have to create a transaction and begin the transaction. So here transaction Hibernate transaction is equal to session dot begin transaction. Now I will create the employee object. And I will add the value set id 101 employee dot username, set username as tel comma, then we have employee dot set password suppose test, so password is test. So this object, so there are three kinds of object state. One is transient state, then we have persistent and DA test. This object is in transient state, it is newly created. Now if we persist this object employee, now it is in persistent state, and after when we close the session, then it goes to the DA test stage. Transaction dot commit, then we have to close the session, close, save. So our program is completed. So first, right now we will check if there is anything in the employee. No. Now we will run our program and we will debug if we face any problem. Run Java application. So here you can see that some problem with the cannot execute the statement. Table name, username, password. So maybe some problem with the configurations. So let me check the DESC employee ID username password. So here HPM file username ID, we forgot to mention the table name. So let's run it again. And let's see, it is loading. Here you can see that insert into employee username password. So and our program is executed successfully. Here you can see that our entry in the database. So this was the simple example using Hibernate.